A Louisville Metro police officer unleashed his police dog on a 14-year-old black boy who was spotted lying on the ground, leading to severe injuries and hospitalization. According to the report, the officer was leading his dog to search for a person suspected of a home invasion. After searching for several minutes, the officer saw the teenager lying on the ground, face down in the grass. So obviously, an immediate deadly threat. Immediately after noticing the teen, the officer deployed his dog off leash without giving any warning and ordered the dog to bite the teen at least 7 times. This is a 14-year-old boy who was laying face down in grass. During the encounter, the teen remained prone, pleaded, okay, help, get the dog, please, as the officer continued to stand over him and shout orders for about 30 seconds while the dog was chewing on his arm. At one point, the officer shouted, "Stop fighting my dog," despite video showing that was not happening. The teen suffered severe injuries on his arm and back and was admitted to a children's hospital. So protect and serve indeed. In another case, a report indicated that another police dog incident, there was the DOJ, they said officers found a white man lying face up on his back in his boxers with his hands up. Again, a defensive position, if anything, not aggressive. The man tried to comply with the officer's orders while the dog continued to bite his foot for nearly a minute. And I don't know if you've ever been bitten by a dog out there in the audience, like even just a bite that happens and then moves on. I've never had a dog chew on my body for a second, let alone a minute. But I imagine that that's pretty horrific. Horrific is the emotional response that I would have. Not everyone would have that. Apparently these cops thought it was perfectly acceptable because they stood there watching as a person was chewed on for a minute by a dog trained to potentially kill people. Sharon, what do you think?
I want to know everybody who watched it. I want everyone who watched it identified, not just the monster who unleashed it. And then I want to know what supervisors, if any, saw the footage. And I also want to know if the footage was in black and white, because it takes me back decades. I'm thinking things that John Lewis, may he rest, marched for. That's really what we're talking about here, okay? Let me attack you, let me beat you, let me have a dog chew on your foot, and then complain that you're not complying. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, utterly ridiculous. So those are a couple of the specifics. We want to talk a little bit about some of the broader conclusions. They say in this report, for years, LMPD has practiced an aggressive style of policing that it deploys selectively, especially against black people, but also against vulnerable people throughout the city. LMPD cites people for minor offenses like wide turns and broken taillights, while serious crimes like sexual assault and homicide go unsolved. They're too busy looking at the broken taillights, I guess, or maybe those are just the easy ones. And the murder and stuff, that's just difficult. Who has the time? Also, political bias was baked into LMPD. One July 2018 department document said the extremist 3%ers group believe law enforcement has been handcuffed by politics and want to help us do what they think is right. They adopted the 3%ers description of themselves as patriotic citizens who love their country, their freedoms, and their liberty. I would love to know exactly how they define their, because I feel like that includes some people, but very much does not include other people. And so they also routinely violated the rights of people engaging in protected political speech, particularly when that speech was critical of law enforcement. They would be targeted and abused by police. And as of right now, the city has apparently reached an agreement in principle to resolve the constitutional violations found by the DOJ investigation. So, Sharon, problem solved, I assume.
Yeah, I want to know if these 3%ers came to work in red hats and if they all asked off on January 6th. Did they get vacation leave on January 6th? Again, ridiculous. And when you talk about keeping a community safe while you're going after taillights and racial profiling people, you are letting those sexual assault, unsolved crimes, issues that actually do affect greater society go unsolved. As a journalist in newsrooms for years, they would have racial profiling. They take the police report and suddenly it would end up in the teleprompter, and I would never read it, okay? Because what you're also doing, it didn't just offend me as a black person, it offended me because you're not helping anyone while you're going after every black person, okay, with braids. The person who actually perpetrated the crime is going free. So I have many questions here, and I don't know that Merrick Garland's efforts here, perhaps noble, are going to make a difference greater society globally. And I think that's the rub. We know as we sit here, and it doesn't matter what you achieve economically, greater heights you go to, when you are a certain segment of society, these announcements come and you know things aren't gonna get better for us. And that's the problem here.
Well, and I think, like, to your point, like specifically about how they're not gonna care to track down, for instance, the perpetrator of sexual assault. That's the sexual assaults that actually get reported. But if you've been living in this place where there is so much bias and targeting of segments of the population, are you as likely to even bother reporting it in this place when you have very little reason to believe throughout your life that they're gonna have your back, that they're gonna take it seriously, that they're gonna give you a fair shake in terms of investigation? I assume that the horrific numbers for how the percentage that are solved of those is actually an undercount, because I have a feeling people don't want to even engage with the system.
Yeah, particularly, I think you're right, particularly when you left out one thing, or they're gonna flip the script on you and see, let me search your house, let me see what's going on. What are you doing? Yeah. And why are you calling us? You must be up to something, because that's an experience too that happens all too often.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.